First Warning MMA report is joined live by Frank the Nightmare Schuman ahead of his huge caged aggression bout this Friday night. How you doing tonight, Frank?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you, Brian?
Good, hanging in there. Before we get started, we always thank our sponsors: Kiss My Fist Medco, the absolute hardest hitting edibles on the planet; Infinite Wealth Management; Robert Lamb Auto Body Repair; and Andy Mack Sport Fishing Guide and Service. So, start us out here, Frank. This is going to be your first fight, fighting under Whyrufus Sport Appleton. Tell us a little bit about the move there and why that you felt that was the gym to go to.
Oh man, I was independent for a while, just trying to find my place in the fight scene. I couldn't really find a place to call home. David and Andrew actually came up to me, I want to say, over a year ago, maybe?
Yeah, maybe a little less.
A little less than a year ago, maybe. It's a local show up in Stevens Point, and kind of just, chatting it up, and told me to come down and start training with them. And I was like, yeah, I was real hesitant because I kind of liked having the freedom to just go gym to gym, check it out, get a different look. And then leading up to my last fight back in February, I stopped in a few days because I was in the area. Stopped in a few days and just checked it out. And it's like, all right, like these guys are legit. They well-ran gym, well-ran facility. Lots of, even though like they're white belts in jiu-jitsu, they knew what they were doing. It wasn't just a random white belt or a white belt from another gym. They were solid all the way around, and that's something I've always been looking for and needing. And they had a lot of guys my size, 155 to 205, kind of like the fight range I like to be in. And after my fight in February, whole COVID stuff happened, and then they posted that they were opening the doors. And honestly, I want to say the biggest push for me to start training with Whyrufus Sport was my girlfriend Ashley. She did some research and did some asking around, and I was over with a different gym in Appleton, actually a couple blocks away from where they were at the time, and just didn't feel right. And so she's like, well, just go try them out, see how they're doing. And I did like a 3-day, trial, like actually checking out the gym and doing all the classes, and the rest is history, let's do it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a nice facility. I know anybody that's watching this that hasn't been there yet should go check it out if they're in the area. The new facility is really nice.
We have a full octagon. We have a weight training area with all Rogue equipment. How much mat space do we have?
I don't know the exact square footage, but the whole facility is over 6,000.
Yeah, the whole facility is over 6,000. We have a 26-foot cage.
24-foot.
24-foot cage.
Octagon.
Full octagon cage. Most, I would say, over 80% of the gym is mat space for training. We got heavy bags. We got our Rogue cage for bench press squat. We have the Rogue recumbent bike, right? What kind of bike is that?
Rogue Echo Bike.
The Rogue Echo Bike, so we do all of our conditioning and everything else there. I mean, we're still getting more stuff. Andrew and David are still getting more stuff, making sure we can be the peak athletes that we need to be, especially when we take fights on 8 days notice and we have a weight cut. We grinded out for 8 days and made weight. So
Yeah, awesome. And I know you mentioned your last fight back in February against Nelly. That was perhaps your most impressive fight that I saw, just because you just kind of stepped up and took control of the fight right away. And how did it feel getting that first KO win?
Honestly, that's it's a bittersweet KO. I used to train with Nelly and the Pure Vita guys. I always try to maintain a good relationship with those guys, just in case I ever wanted to cross train and go check them out and see what they're up to. And when Jake offered me the fight, at first I said no, just due to the fact that it was Nelly, and he was my training partner, and we were friends. And then I asked Jake more or less, like, well, how does Nelly feel about this? And he's like, Nelly's okay with it. Like, he wants to test. He wants to see where he's at. And so we couldn't think of any better guy than you to see where he's at, because we need to see where he's at, blah, blah. And, you know, me, I'm game to fight. I'm like, let's go. You know, if he's okay with it, like, send me the contract. And then, you know, even, like, leading up to the fight, we were checking in on each other, just shooting the shit. Oh, sorry about that. And then, you know, at weigh-ins, you know, we were talking at weigh-ins, you know, like a normal day in the gym, you know, made weight, joking around, having a good time. Day of the fight, same thing, you know, he was a little more standoffish, trying to get into the mood. And if anyone's ever seen me at a fight, even the night I'm fighting or not fighting, I'm out talking to people, just having a great time, you know. And you ain't gonna find me in the back 90% of the time. I'm gonna be out in the crowd, meeting fans, meeting new people, just make sure everybody's enjoying themselves, enjoying the fight night.
Yeah.
And then, you know, fight start, and you know, when I hit the cage, you know, the whole night I was like, man, why is it gotta be Nelly? Why is it gotta be Nelly? Second I hit that cage, you know, before the fight even starts, when I just flipped that switch and said, you know, he signed the contract. It's now became personal. I'm in this cage. Weight was made. Let's go. Biggest surprise for me, I guess, is I was expecting more of a grinding fight. You know, a lot of cage work, a lot of scrambling. When Nelly picked me up and slammed me, I was like, okay. Or he didn't slam me when he tossed me. WWE'd me. I don't know what you want to call it. I was embarrassed as hell after watching the fight. I was like, wow, that dude just did that to me. But when he disengaged and stood there and let me get back up, and then he went flat foot and started swinging, I was, you know, that's my go-to. You know, I'm not afraid to stand and bang with anybody. So let's see whose jaw is stronger and who has more power. And I just caught him, you know, at the right moment, at the right time during the transition, and was able to get him pushing backwards. And once I smelled blood in the water, I just pushed forward. You know, and you know, it sucks. Like I said, it's bittersweet because, you know, if anyone watches that fight on YouTube, you can see, you know, at first, you know, like I was jacked, I was excited, but once I realized what I just did, like I went over by, you know, the PRV corner and apologized and make sure, you know, like that, and I walked over and you see me pushing away the state commission and everything else so I can be next to Nelly and just making sure he was okay, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, I still consider him a friend, you know, a teammate potentially again, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, like I don't want, we're in a fight game where people are going to get hurt, but it's different when you're the one hurting, you know, a person you consider a friend and a teammate. So that was a hard fight for me. Was I excited about that? But first KO in 16 fights, like, yeah, I'll take that. But just the person, the timing was, I guess, fun.
Yeah, you could tell there was a lot of respect between you two, leading up to that fight and afterwards, obviously. So, and you've been around, you know, the MMA game in Wisconsin for quite a while. You know, what's it been like watching it grow in Wisconsin?
Man, I've been involved in the MMA game or the martial arts since I was 5. You know, I'm 27 now. You know, between karate, pancration, some judo, some Muay Thai, a little bit of everything. I really got involved in the MMA. I want to say when I was 10, 12 years old, watching guys like Mike Sixel, John Freeland, you know, all those guys start fighting. It's always been an interest of me. But, I mean, from the fight game then to now, I mean, it's been a big change. You got more involvement with the state. Things can tend to be a little more political and everything else. And just, I try and stay out of it the best I can. But, you know, in the end, you know, like here I am down in Iowa, the commission's letting people fight. But in Wisconsin, the commission is on vacation. Either way, they're at home collecting a paycheck. Well, we have guys like me and everybody at Whyrufus Sport, Ironworks, Sheboygan Fight System, Pure Vita. We're looking for fights, unified. You know, we have a lot of guys who are staying active, looking for fights. And when the state is just refusing to open, it's BS. You know, I hate to say it, it's just straight up BS. You know, like we're willing to take the risks. I know promotions are willing to do everything possible to take the risks and also fall by mandates and everything else that are in place to make sure we can still hold the venues and everyone's safe. Yeah. And the commission's dropping the ball on it. And so it's causing guys to go out of state And that puts us at more risk than anything else because we're traveling across state lines. We're stopping at gas stations, this, that, and the other thing. And you're putting us at risk more than you are stopping us. Because in the end, if there's a fight, we're going to find it. That's all it comes down to. But back to the original question. In the last, I would say, 10 years, I've personally been involved in the fight game. A lot has changed, yeah. I think, I guess my biggest concern is a lot of the amateurs and younger pros, they have this sense of entitlement, and that's one thing that, Andrew and David and Chuck do a really good job at is at the end of the day, stay humble and you gotta work for that spot. You gotta work your way up. I know a few guys locally in Wisconsin, who aren't the best fighters, who feel, and they're pros, and they feel they deserve that 2-2 paycheck, 2,000, it's like, you're not there. You haven't fought anybody worthwhile to be there. Yeah, you may have a winning record, but if you're fighting cans your whole career, sit down, Either step up and fight a stud or go sit down, And that's why some of those guys won't leave the regional show. That's why those guys aren't getting a phone call 8 days notice to cut 20 pounds, drive to Iowa, make weight, and fight for a title. It's just where I believe this is a sport. In some gyms and some fighters, they're just losing the point of what it means to be a fighter and pushing forward to that next step. They're getting content and complacent in their little bubble at their local show, and that's all they want to do. So it just, it's a whole different ballgame. We could sit and argue about it all day, and I don't think anybody has the time or wants to listen to that. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned big opportunity and stepping up, and obviously you have a huge opportunity in front of you tomorrow night. You're taking on a UFC veteran, Eric Wisely. How did this fight come to fruition in 8 days' notice? And tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that bout.
Okay, I was actually preparing for a different fight. I was in the, I guess you could say, in the hat pick for fighting for the Cage Fury 170 title, and that this one with a different route. Basically, I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose, but there's some other influences involved right now that wasn't an option, and so I was right in was it 7-day camp I started then, or 14-day camp for that Cage Fury?
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah, I had a few weeks, I want to say. So we were right here in camp, and then fell apart. So, I took a few days off, just get over the whole camp and just get my mind and everything set again. And then I come to the gym on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and Coach David's like, "I got news for you." I'm like, "What I do?" Instantly like, "What I do?" Like, where are we going? What's going on? He's like, "Can you fight?" Yeah. He's like, "Can you fight next weekend?" I'm like, "This week or next weekend?" He's like, "Next weekend." I was like, "Yeah, sure I can. Why?" So got you a title fight down in Iowa, cage aggression. Like, it's a big fight. The guy we're fighting is a stud. Eric's 33-9 or 30-9 or something like that. UFC, Bellator, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
He's like, "But it's on 8 days notice. Like, do you want it?" Like I said, if you know me, if I can make weight, I'm fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do it. And the coach was like, "Well, how's your weight?" I'm like, "Weight's fine. Like, we're good." Like, last time I checked the scale I was 10, 12 over. All right, we'll take it. And then decided to jump on the scale. And it was a little more than 10, 12 over. It's a smidgen. But we got on top of it, got on top of the weight right away. Usually on average, I'm doing a 10, 15 pound weight cut day of. Guys here at Whyrufus Sport and the training and team and everything, Andrew especially on me, we were able to do a simple, easy 4-pound weight cut. So I can't complain. It was smooth sailing, 8-day camp, but we put in the work for sure.
Yep. And we were talking about the weight cut too, and I know this I know you've had some pretty brutal weight cuts in the past. You're going to be the bigger man, I think, in the cage tomorrow night. Obviously, you said you weighed in just a hair over 170, and your opponent was like 168.
Yep.
Do you think that size difference is going to play a factor at all?
Honestly, if you would have asked me this with any other fighter, last year or the year before, I would confidently say 110% the size difference is going to make a difference. I'm bigger welterweight. I like to walk around a little thicker, but Eric Wisely, man, he's been there, he's done that. Tomorrow, I don't think it's the size that's gonna matter. It's who shows up. He's a vet. He's been there, he's done that. He's 40 fights in his career. I have 16. We both been around. We both understand the game. And at this point, whether 5-10 pounds weight difference fight night, it's not gonna really make a difference. The height, I mean, he's a smaller guy. He's used to fighting bigger, taller guys. It's just come down to who shows up. If I drop the ball and don't show up, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. That's why we're doing everything we can now to make sure I'm hydrated. I'm, fed and watered basically like a puppy dog. I'm not allowed to do much here. Coach Andrew here, he's sit here and just relax. Drink your water, your Pedialyte, your Fit Aid water that Andrew so nicely keeps at the gym in a big cooler. But when it comes down to the fight night, it's who shows up.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to. It's I hate saying I'm a veteran because I don't feel like I'm a veteran, but you got 10 years in a sport. It's a long time.
Oh yeah.
In fights, it's a long time. So it comes down to which one of us shows up and wants it more.
Well, in cage aggressions, I mean, that's one of the better promotions in the Midwest. What would it mean to you to be their welterweight champion?
We talked about this a little bit. It's at the end of the day. I mean, to me personally, David would argue with me about this, but it's just another fight. Like, does it mean something to be a champion of a promotion? Yeah, it does. But if I don't get the opportunity to defend it, or anything like that, if it's just a one fight, you won our title, we'll see you later. We'll make it go vacant and have somebody else fight for it locally in Iowa, like 2 Iowa guys. Then, at the end of the day, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a shiny wall ornament we're gonna nail on the gym wall and forget about. Anybody can be a title holder. You're not a true champion until you defend it once or twice. And so I win the title, hopefully I get an opportunity to defend it once or twice. And then at that point it's like, okay, like, I'm legit. Like, let's go. Who's next? But if it's just a one fight and done deal on 8 days notice because they just need somebody to fill the card, at the end of the day, it's just another fight. I'm gonna go home Monday, be back in the gym Tuesday, nailed up on the wall at the gym, get ready for my next opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you what your plans were, after this fight, but you kind of went over that just now.
We have a couple plans. Coach Andrew and David got some things in the works. Might be fighting for Cage Aggression.
The Cage Fury.
Or Cage Fury. I'm sorry, Cage Fury welterweight belt here in a few weeks. So just gotta get through this fight as healthy as possible, and then work with the commission and see what's going on. And that fight opportunity is still available. Get back on the horse, start the camp, and go collect another strap.
Strap season.
Oh yeah, it's strap season. It's time to collect that gold, get that money.
Do you have any predictions on how it's going to go tomorrow night?
Oh man, that's the same question. These guys keep asking me, and if the typical me shows up, the one that I'm sure you've seen a couple times, and everybody knows in the Wisconsin scene, I don't think it's going past the first, maybe early in the second. But I also have to be smart about this fight too, because Eric is a vet. He's been in the game for a long time. So he's more of a grinder, deep water type of fighter, and I'm not afraid of deep water. But why go there if you don't need to? That's the way I look at it. So I think I'm gonna meet him in the middle, round 2, round 3, really push on the pace. But besides that, I mean, he's a vet. He's been there. He's done that. He's seen all kinds of looks. But I'm a really hard guy to prep for, physically and mentally. It's just my fighting style is so awkward and unorthodox that he leaves me a split opportunity and he starts to repeat that pattern. That's blood in the water for me. I'm gonna go for that kill. I don't care if I put myself in a bad position. I'm gonna make sure when I attempt whatever I attempt to do, whether it's with my hands, my wrestling, my grappling, make sure he feels every second of tomorrow night's fight.
Excellent. We can't wait to see it. That was the other thing I was going to ask. Is there a way that people can watch online at all?
Yes, there is. There's if you find me on Facebook, my fight page, Frank Nightmare Schuman, I will be posting the hyperlink to get access to the pay-per-view. I believe it's a $25.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. So
Yeah.
you can choose to watch the first night, just the first night only, or both nights, or the second night. But he'll be tomorrow night, which would be the first night of the event. So, yeah, it's pretty cheap. So I mean, if you guys want to watch some certified violence, tune in and pay a cheap little $20 or whatever it is, support some MMA that's not going on a lot right now in the United States, besides obviously the big boys. And then watch, a Wisconsin vet here take on, a UFC vet, Bellator vet, and Strikeforce vet.
Yeah, so I'll post a link on my fight page, Frank Nightmare Schuman. And then I believe if you just go to the Cage Aggression website as well, they have the hyperlinks and stuff there too. But yeah, I mean, this venue, from what they were saying, holds usually 3,000 people on average. Because this whole COVID nonsense, they have it down to only 700. So that hurts the promotion a little bit, I can imagine, but they're pushing the pay-per-views the best they can, and I know I have a bunch of people back home ordering pay-per-views and want to tune in and check it out. Like I said, I'll post the link. If you can't find my fight page for a reason, Facebook, Instagram, check out cageaggression.com, I believe it is, and they have all the information there.
Cool.
I think tomorrow is only like 4 amateur fights and then 10 pro fights.
Okay.
And all the pros on the card, I'd say over 80% of them are veteran-based guys, have a few more than a few fights underneath them, so it's not gonna be a boring night at all tomorrow for sure. And then of course you got the clash of Wisconsin versus Iowa again, and I'm 2-0 in Iowa, so we're going for that 3. So
Perfect. Yeah, we'll share that link on the page as well. See if we can get some more people to join in and watch. We look forward to watching you bang tomorrow night. You're always fun to watch. You're always one of our favorites to watch. So best of luck, and we'll be cheering you on.
awesome, thank you.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy.